Do you want a selfie?
VHS Beyond. Well, it's another year, which means another VHS movie. What is this, number 6? Oh wait, no, it's number 7. Oh geez, okay. They just keep making more and more of these. This one is interesting though, as it ditched the numbers theme it's been going on for a bit for a quote beyond theme, whatever that means. As far as I can tell, the main theme is supposed to be aliens, but 2 out of the 6 segments have nothing to do with aliens or UFOs or anything extraterrestrial at all, so okay. It is a little strange that the overarching theme is extraterrestrial, but then have 2 segments that are completely disconnected from that, so weird thought. Maybe I'm just missing something. At least it's another fun, mostly practical effects anthology that promises to deliver a mostly solid experience. There's a lot to go into with this, so I'll tackle these segments one by one like I usually do. The wraparound segment tying all of these together is, once again, somewhat lacking in my opinion. They just don't seem to be putting as much effort into the framing narrative anymore, which is annoying to me personally. I miss the original days with people trying to raid cult compounds of cursed VHS clips or exploring dilapidated houses with background scares in between the tapes. That's fun and sets up a good mystery. There are fun framing narratives for a series called VHS to deal with characters watching VHS tapes. This one, it just kind of cuts to them in between the wraparound. That's it. There's no reason for them to show up. They just do. The wraparound here is called abduction/adduction. For those who don't know, adduction is the opposite of abduction. Take with that what you will. And it's a documentary about extraterrestrial believers and skeptics being shown 2 tapes labeled Proof 1 and Proof 2. It really doesn't do anything remotely frightening until the very end. And by then, it's just kind of there to look cool. There's no real tension. And it's just a weird ending overall that doesn't wrap everything up as well as I would have liked, but okay, it's not my favorite wraparound, but at least it's there. The documentary angle is interesting and was directed by Jay Cheel, who has pretty much only done documentaries outside of one short film, so that makes sense that it would be a documentary. Moving on though, let's get into the segments. The first segment is called Stork. This one is set in 2023 along with most of the segments, so this is the much more modern VHS, but in order to keep with the VHS aesthetic, the film mostly uses body cameras and hidden cameras or goes a little retro here and there, so that's something. This segment follows a police unit codenamed Warden investigating a house where a string of baby disappearances has led to. Inside, they find only horrors along with some very interesting creature designs. This is a great opener. The action is wild combined with the camera movements usually being set on the weapons used. Oh, it's great. Some of these kills look really, really good. Although the zombie masks on a lot of the enemies here do look a little cheesy, but they get a lot of fun visuals here and there, and a lot of it just looks really damn good and creepy. No wonder the promo material used a lot of them for the creatures, but sure, the acting is fine for the most part, but it's mostly action and stunts, so I don't have too much to say there. The characters don't really get to do much besides, pew pew pew, stab stab. That's about it. The creature designs though, especially near the end, are fantastic as well. They look so cool, and I believe that they were done practically, so that's even better. This was directed by Jordan Downey of Thanksgiving fame or infamy? Really? Okay, sure. I guess he does a lot of movies now. Cool. Moving on to our second segment, we have our foreign language one, Dream Girl, taking place in Mumbai and following 2 paparazzos as they sneak into a famous actress's trailer only to discover her dark secret. And this one is just okay. The effects honestly look a little mid and are pretty blurry when on screen, including a interesting death that we've seen before 2 or 3 VHSs ago, so weird to see it happening again, but okay. The effects just look a little mid too, and are particularly blurry if up close. I don't really understand that choice. The Bollywood music video is a fun touch, but other than that, I have in my notes here, I wrote down that this is a Bollywood mix of Carrie and the Terminator Terminator, so take that with what you will. This was directed by Virat Pal, and I think he did a decent enough job. It's just not written very well. It's not great, and definitely the weakest so far, if not the weakest of the whole film. Mostly because the effects, again, are way too blurry, and the story is just really meh. The ending just kind of happens with no real rhyme or reason, besides to have some violence. Also, there are no aliens. There's nothing extraterrestrial here, so it immediately breaks the theme. Okay, weird. Luckily, we get right back on theme with the next segment, Live and Let Dive, which follows a group of friends taking one guy skydiving for his birthday. When they spot a real UFO from their plane, the trip quickly spirals out of control. I really like this one. The acting is strong for the most part, but especially by the lead, Zach, played by Bobby Slasky. His desperation and fear is very real, and seeing him react to everything around him as we're seeing it on his body camera is a great detail. The effects in this one aren't as good though, seeing as the aliens are very obvious CGI, and there's a lot of pacing issues and odd cuts when returning to ground level. Running around in Orange Grove in broad daylight is a really cool location for horror though, so I do like that. Great use of that. Otherwise, the alien designs look interesting, although I'm curious about what certain things they do. They have body parts that look like an attack but don't really do anything, so I'm not sure what that's about. This one could definitely use a sequel segment because it'd be a lot of fun, and it kind of ends open-ended, so I think it's a lot of fun. This was directed by Justin Martinez, who co-created Radio Silence, so it helps that he knows what he's doing. Great work here, dude. I just wish it had more practical effects, but okay. Next segment, we have what I believe to be the joke segment of the movie. It makes sense as this one, titled Fur Babies, if the name didn't tip you off, was directed by Justin Long and written by him and his brother Christian Long. This one is about an animal rights group who infiltrates a doggy daycare after seeing the woman in charge has taxidermied her previous pets. Upon their stay, they quickly discover her secrets. Once I knew Justin Long had directed this, it all made sense, especially after seeing Tusk. It's wild and hokey, and the effects aren't great, to say the least about it. There are no aliens in this one either, so another negative tick there, but it's shot really well, and with hidden and security cameras, with the set being a suburban house too is fun. It reminded me of Barbarian a little bit, eh, Justin? I see you, I see you. Oh, I do want to give some praise as well to the actress Libby Letlow as the crazed dog caretaker Becky. She is hilarious and intimidating and was giving me some serious Fannie Wilkes vibes, which is hilarious. I love that. She is honestly the standout in this that makes this segment work. If she wasn't here, or if Becky was a different character, it would not be anywhere near as interesting as it is. The story is very meh otherwise, but her performance just really helps raise it high. Moving on to the last segment, it's one called Stowaway, and it might just be my favorite, especially once I found out it was written by one of my favorite directors right now, Mike Flanagan, but directed by Katie Siegel, one of the leads in most of Flanagan's movies and shows. I love that. I think she's an amazing actress, and it's really cool to see her step into the director's chair. This segment follows a woman doing an independent documentary on aliens and UFO sightings in the Mojave Desert, having left her family to do so. When she does find a landed UFO, she enters, excited to explore and document her findings. This one is definitely the creepiest, especially after watching Jordan Peele's Nope. The set design is great and otherworldly, but I have to give props to Alana Pierce as the lead lady Haley. She's also done voice work for Cyberpunk 2077, so that's cool. She has such an interesting way of delivering her lines in this. She'll be quiet and focused, talking everything over like a true documentarian, but will also have a vulnerable bit here and there, like when she's regretting her choices about leaving her family behind. But then the excitement she gets when finding this craft and starting to explore, oh, it's so cool. I like the design of the set and this UFO as well. It's really interesting. Although the ending is a little meh. It does leave things open to interpretation, and I enjoy that, but I just kind of wish it had a little bit more to it. Has an interesting twist, but that's it. Solid work here though overall. And with that, that's all 5 segments and the wraparound, so 6. As usual, and like most anthology collections, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Not counting the wraparound, we have 3 out of 5 segments being bangers, while only 1 segment was really lacking in any particular strength. Dream Girl just didn't have anything going for it outside of the Bollywood setting. At least Fur Babies was a cute callback to Justin Long's work and had a great central performance. So if I had to rate the segments, I'd say Dream Girl goes in 5th place, Fur Babies in 4th, Live and Let Die in 3rd, Stork in 2nd, and Stowaway 1st. There's a lot of cool creature designs and a lot of kinetic action in most of these, so it'll be very hard to get bored when watching. Some segments could use some work, but overall I think this is a solid entry into the VHS franchise. The wraparound, though, really needs to be fixed and tie back into the cursed tapes idea, and the theme of aliens and such should have been much more closely adhered to. It's still very, very weird to call it Beyond and have 4 out of the 6 stories directly feature aliens and UFOs, but then 2 that don't incorporate anything having to do with extraterrestrials. Why call it Beyond then? It's a very bizarre choice. So if I were to make the film better, I'd need to adjust those 2 stories or swap them out entirely with something more fitting. Otherwise, I do think this is a solid entry with cool monsters and practical effects and gore, but it needs a refocusing badly. I still say that it's worth a watch, so by all means, check it out on Shudder. I do think they need to focus more so it doesn't get stale again, but they seem to be churning these out just fine, so I guess we'll see. Ultimately though, VHS Beyond gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around for another one. I've always been a fan of VHS. VHS 2 is still my favorite. I know I've talked about this before in my previous reviews. I really like the idea of getting not just big name directors, but some more indie directors to do small short segments. And the lengths of these were pretty good. This is a almost 2-hour long movie, and it works really well for how long some of these segments are. Some of them I feel like could have been a little longer and fixed a little bit of the pacing issues, like Live and Let Die has a lot of areas where characters will run into each other and say something, and then it'll just cut to them running off somewhere else without really any focus. So that's a little bit of an issue, but otherwise I really like the practical effects in most of these. I really think Live and Let Die was the only one that used CG. Maybe Dream Girl had a little bit of that in there too. I know there was some CG in Stowaway, but that's just because it had effects they couldn't do physically. So I guess that's a little forgivable. It isn't as distracting as making the entire aliens CG, but hey, at least the aliens we do see in all the different segments here look cool. There's only one that looks vaguely humanoid, and it's kind of obvious it's just a dude in a, I think, animatronic mask, but otherwise it's very human. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a cop-out. Aliens can look like whatever you want them to look like, so designing them to look pretty much just human is strange. But that's an issue that they have with even space TV shows. Star Wars has very weird human-looking aliens. Star Trek has even more human-looking aliens. The Orville had several characters that are supposed to be aliens, and they just have like a prosthetic headpiece or nose on. So, okay, whatever. That's my nitpick. I understand that's probably for budget, but still, get creative. That's my take on it. Anyway, I wonder what the next VHS is gonna be. They should have a VHS that's strictly just monsters. That would be fun. Monsters are fun. Do that. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. After that, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a video. And yeah, that's it. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo, the fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just